I like singing. I like dancing.
I like trains.
What is going on, guys? Rogue TCG here bringing another Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile. This is going to be not quite TCG. We're still waiting on one card in the entire deck. However, it is the reason I decided I wanted to build this deck. This is Machina Trains. The entire reason I wanted to build this deck was because of this newly announced card, Decan Logue Baldrath. It's an Omni Negate at rank 10, as well as popping cards like every step of the way functionally. It's an insane value card, so the main purpose of this deck, I'm going to say it before the deck profile so you can understand the idea behind the deck while I'm explaining the cards, is to get this guy on field and to get either a resource loop via Anger Knuckle and Machina Overdrive, or get this guy on board with Super Dora to make it unaffected by your opponent's card effects. So, yeah. That's the entire point of the deck. It's not necessarily meant to be a combo deck or be super meta relevant. It's just to do that one really cool thing, which is make the cool new card and go, wow! But that's enough yapping from me. Let's get on to the profile. Before the video starts, about 96% of you guys are not subscribed. Subscribing and clicking that notification bell does help me out a lot in doing what I really want to do. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Wow. I said this was Machina Trains, so we can't have a profile without any Machinas. We have one copy of Machina Ruin Force. This is the free 10 from the grave by banishing machines from your grave whose levels equal 12 or more. Its on-field effect is not really too relevant. It is a 4600 body. However, the main reason we're running it is a level 10 body that we can easily send to the graveyard, and it's easy discard fodder. We're on 2 copies of Machina Citadel, another level 10. This one works very well with Machina Overdrive, being able to special summon itself and being a board wipe on board. So we don't necessarily need to be making the rank 10. However, that is more so what we want to be doing. However, we do have other abilities to do stuff outside of that. So we're going to be playing 2 of this. So if we do use one of them as material, we can have the other one that we can still grab from deck, hand, or grave, or whatever with Overdrive for any other card effect. We are running 2 copies of Machina Metal Cruncher. We are running the Machina Search spell, so we don't want to be like too deep on the Machinas, especially since the Machinas don't really have a great ability to get 10s out on their own. They more get the 10s into rotation and to get the Machina Overdrive and such. So we're playing this. Machina Metal Cruncher, however, is the one that can search any Earth machine from your deck that you're playing 3 of, like no questions asked functionally. So we are playing 2 copies of it. We're playing 1 copy of Night Express Knight. This is just a normal summonable level 10 Earth machine, which is relevant for a lot of our cards that can't just special summon themselves for free. Speaking of which, Super Express Bullet Train, if you control an Earth, or all monsters you control are Earth machines, you can special them from your hand, and it has a graveyard floating effect if it's in the grave. That's cool and all, but this is mostly here just for free 10. We're on triple heavy freight train Dare Crane. If an Earth machine is normal or special, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only do that once per turn. However, the secondary effect is not. When it's attached as material from an Xyz monster, you can target a card your opponent controls and destroy it, which pairs very nicely with Baldrath, just being able to pop even more, just making this guy even larger of a house. This is a new card. We're on 2 Finis Terrea, Tower of the Necro World. If you control a level 10 monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon it once per turn. If it's sent to the grave, you can target a face-up card on the field. That card can be destroyed by card effects this turn. You can only use this effect once per turn. We're only going to be really using this as Xyz material. However, it can be used as link material because we do have links in the extra deck. However, it can't be used to make double-headed Anger Knuckle. It can only be used for SP Little Knight. So we're on 2 copies of that because we really don't want to be breaking on this one in the slightest. We can only special 1 of them per turn, so we don't want to see multiples. We're on 1 Flying Pegasus Railroad Stampede to go with our field spell, as well as another card the field spell can special summon. 3 copies of Finitrack Anchor Drill. This can get out our copies of Citadel out of our hand, as well as like Metal Cruncher and stuff. However, we're not really going to be summoning Metal Cruncher. This is more for like Citadel, like an extra copy of Super Express Bullet Train, a Dare Crane, etc., just to get extra 10s on board via normal summon. We are on 1 copy of Therion King Regulus. We can search this via 3, 2, 1. We're on 1 copy of Therion King Regulus. We can search this either by making a 4 via Spriggan's Merrymaker into Sargass, or we can go Anchor Drill, Special Summon Railroad Stampede, and change the levels to 8 in order to make hard make Sargass if we think they might have a Nibiru. So there are multiple options we can go about getting to our Regulus. That's it for our main deck monsters outside of hand traps. Now on to our spells. We're on 2 copies of Machina Redeployment. We can discard a card to add 2 Machina monsters with different names from each other from your deck to your hand, or you can discard 1 Machina card to add 2 Machina cards with different names from each other from your deck to your hand. This is one of the only ways you can really search Machina Overdrive, except for this next card. Triple Pot of Prosperity. A lot of our cards in our extra deck we're not really going to be needing. They're only there so we have options to go into. So we are running Triple Pot of Prosperity in order to dig for our 10s, to dig for our field spell, to dig for whatever we really need in that given moment. We are on 1 copy of Terraforming because our field spell is very important in this deck. 1 copy of Tactics and 1 Call by the Grave for our hand trap mitigation. We're on triple Revolving Switchyard, one of the central focus points of the deck. The level 10 Earth Machine is normal or special summon to your field. You can activate this effect. Your opponent takes no battle damage for the rest of the turn. You can special summon a level 4 Earth Machine with 1800 or more attack from your deck. And if you do, it becomes level 10. You can send 1 card from your hand to the grave. Add 1 level 10 Earth Machine from your deck to your hand. You can only use 1 Revolving Switchyard effect per turn and only once that turn, so you can only use 1 of those. However, it can special summon both Railroad Stampede and Anchor Drill, as well as being able to search our Bullet Train, Night Express Knight, Machina Citadel, Machina Ruin Force, and Derek Crane. So it's able to access pretty much all aspects of our monster lineup except for our Tower of the Necro World, and our Regulus. So we really do want to be seeing this as frequently as possible. We're on double copies of Machina Overdrive. You can target a machine you control, special summon a Machina with a different name from your hand or deck, and if you do destroy the targeted monster, you banish this card from the grave, target 3 of your machine monsters that are banished in your graves, shuffle them into your deck, and then draw a card. You can use 1 Machina Overdrive once per turn and only once that turn. So this card lets us have a very powerful grind game, recycling all of our resources, just keep going over and over and over again, as well as putting up interruptions, because Machina Citadel can destroy all face-up monsters that attack lower than it, or equal to it, meaning 3000 or lower, so watch out, Blue Eyes. So we are playing this. It is searchable, so we aren't maxing out on it, since it's a hard once per turn per effect, too. So we really don't want to be opening too many of these as well. We're on triple copies of Infinite Impermanence, 2 copies of Nibiru the Primal Being, and triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring for our hand traps. If we are going to be going second, we really would prefer that they don't have anything on their board monster-wise, so that's why we're running the Nibiru. We can easily get rid of that token via Derek Crane or our pop effects or anything, so tokens aren't an issue, cards with effects are. That's it for our main, nice clean 40. Now on to our extra. We are on 1 copy of Salmander Almirage for a cool little package that we have in our side deck. We're on double copies of Double-Headed Anger Knuckle. This is basically a resource engine that we can just get stuff back over and over again in order to maintain our resource loop. We are on 1 copy of SP Little Knight, format staple. Of course, you don't have to play this card. This is just in there because the deck can make it, and it is a card that our Tower of the Necro World can make undestructible by card effects. I already mentioned the Merrymaker and the Sargas. We're on 1 Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max for time to do 2000 damage to our opponent. We are on Deccan Logue Valdraith at 2, so make sure it doesn't get ripped out of our extra. Since this is the focal point of this deck, I am going to read it aloud. It's 2+ level 10 monsters. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can attach a material from this card to negate the activation. Then you can attach 1 more material to destroy a card on field. At the start of the damage step, if this card with materials attacks, you can destroy a card on the field. And if this Xyz coming card is destroyed, you can destroy 1 card on the field. You can only use each effect of Valdraith once per turn. So this card says destroy a card on the field a lot more than just once. So we are going to try and abuse that as much as possible, just nuking everything. So we're going to be running 2 copies of that just so it doesn't get ripped out of our extra via Unicorn. I already mentioned the Super Dora in order to protect our Valdraith or any of our other cards. We're on 1 copy of Sky Palace Gengaradai. Sometimes we do get locked. However, we're on 1 copy of Sky Palace Gengaradai. You can attach a material, target a card your opponent controls, destroy it, and then do 1000. Another time card if you're going second. We're on 1 copy of number XX Utopic Dark Infinity. When a monster is destroyed by battle and sent to the grave, you can attach a material to reborn it to your field in defense position. And then you can target a face-up special summon a monster you control, gain life points equal to its original attack. You can use each effect once per turn. This card is very powerful. Again, another time card, being able to gain upwards of 4,000 plus life points in order to really make it difficult for our opponent to win in time. So we are going to be running it. Run one copy of Super Dimensional Robot Galaxy Destroyer. It needs 3 level 10s and it nukes all back row your opponent controls. It's a duster from the extra and they can't respond to it. Very, very powerful effect. This is why I said 4,000 plus. We do have this 5,000 attack monster just sitting in the extra deck. Run one copy of Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Juggernaut Libe. It needs 3 level 11s, and you can just slap this guy on top of a rank 10 Machine XCs as material. Once per turn, you can attach a material from this card. It gains 2,000 attack and defense, and for the rest of the turn, you can only declare attacks with this card, and during each battle phase, you can make attacks on monsters up to the number of materials that has +1. Lastly, we're on one Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon for our little spice package in the side deck. That's it for the main and extra. Now onto the side. We are running Cyber Dragons in our side. This is for when we're going to be going second, because Cyber Emergency doesn't just search our Cyber Dragons. Cyber Emergency can add a light machine that can't be normal summoned or set. That means we can add Cyber Eltonin from our deck to our hand. It can't be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from your hand by banishing all light machines from your field and grave. Its attack and defense become the number of banished monsters for its special summon. And if it's special summoned, you send all other face-up monsters on the field to the graveyard. That's not just your field, that's your opponent's field. And it doesn't destroy either, so it gets around that. So this card is functionally a board wipe in a monster form at a level 10 light monster that's searchable via the Cyber Dragon engine. So I want to try it out. We can also search Cyber Dragon Core off of this. Cyber Dragon Core would only be able to search another Cyber Emergency. So the plan is to normal summon Core, make an All Mirage, use with Core, search Emergency. You can use Emergency to get Eltonin, and then guess what? You have one light machine in your grave, because that's Core, which means you can then special summon the Eltonin to wipe the board. And we are also playing a triple Cyber Dragon to go with our Mega Fleet in order to eat up anything our opponent has in the EMZ to stop us. For hand traps on our side, we're running Triple Draw and Lock, format staple, as well as Triple Crackdown. I just really think this card's a lot of fun, so I like playing it. And then lastly, we have one copy of Harpy's Feather Duster. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, if you guys still are, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye. Thank y'all so much for watching the video, it really means a lot. If you want to talk to other Yu-Gi-Oh players in a competitive manner, please feel free to check out my Discord. We are still growing, but we would love to have you, and we plan to do some events sometime soon. You'll also be able to do cool stuff like vote on future videos and topics of videos, so swing by sometime and check us out. I also started a Patreon, so that'll be linked in the description of my videos from now on. Donating would mean a lot, and would help in producing these videos. Right now, there's only one tier, being Tier 1 Femboy. This tier includes access to an exclusive Discord channel where you'll be able to talk amongst other femboys and have access to discussions with me as well as getting a shout out in every video following your patronage. Thank you so much for all your support.